Hey, what is up, my dudes? I'm back with another video. This time I'm going to be titling this The Monitor's Victims, as I've gone over some of them from Danganronpa 3 Future Arc. I went over one, which is her name is Candy Girl, made by some other people, but it's Ruruka. But I went over hers, but I will be going over her actual death in the end. But I will be going over each and every one of the characters' death, who were killed by the Monitor's influence from Danganronpa the Future Arc. Now, first up is the main person's wife. I forget her name. She was one of the first ones to actually take her own life, and it showed in episode 9, I think, or no, I think it was 11, as they actually show the character's actually death. Basically, first up is her. She was one of the first ones to actually commit suicide because she had, because she was also under the Monitor's influence. Well, her death was actually showed of her grabbing a chair and tying something up to, like, the rafters or something, and she was eventually found in episode 1, hanging upside down from the rafters themselves, which is pretty freaking dark. At this point, no one really knew that it was the Monitor's influence until some people started to figure it out, and then they actually said who it was, or said that it was the Monitor's influence. Next up is Zuko, I think his name is, the one with the second victim was the one with the bull head mask thing. Now, this was the second death caused by the Monitor's influence. He actually, after watching the video that actually made him commit suicide, his death was a little graphic. It wasn't really that bad. He started to actually stab his neck, and then he jumped up onto this, like, ledge or something, and actually started to wrap these, like, electrical cables around him to suspend him into the air. And eventually he actually lost his own life from either the blood loss from a stab in the neck, or him wrapping himself around those electrical cables. I don't really know which one of those caused his death. It wasn't really specified. But I will be moving on to the next victim. The next victim is, I think, who was the next victim? The next victim was the one girl who had this, like, transformation into this, like, really, really strong female persona. I forget her name as well. So she was found, like, by like, the wall, after she had also seen the Monitor's video, and it was actually said, or showed, that she actually, which it wasn't really clear exactly what she did, because it was mostly blurry and all that. I don't like that they actually cut out, or actually blurred out, the people's, the actual, some of the actual, contestants' injuries and actual ways that they committed suicide. I don't like that they actually either blurred it out or like put this like dark haze in front of it. I don't like that because I like to actually know, like, hey, what are they actually doing? And stuff. Well, this next person, I think it was Ru, because I honestly don't really remember her name, so I won't really give her an actual name, for this, but her death was a little graphic. It was mostly the second most graphic one, because she just, because she was actually seen, I think it was smashing her head into the wall, I think. And this is repeatedly, one after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next. One slam after the next, after the next. Which is kind of graphic, actually. Now we get on to the final participant who actually took their own life. And this was one of the second most hopeful people or contestants in the actual Danganronpa series, right next to Naegi himself. Ruruka, or better known as Candy Girl. This chick had the most graphic death in this arc, as it wasn't really shown what she actually did to herself during the flashback of her seeing and actually looking into the monitors, which I will be putting up a picture to show you guys. I don't know why they didn't really show her not really doing anything, considering her death was easily the most graphic out of them all. She had several cuts over her legs, arms, body parts, and she actually, I think she stabbed herself in the actual breast part of her chest, which is just horrific in itself if you are a female. Like, I mean, I cannot even imagine. Like, I'm sure most females in that situation, just seeing that would have gotten shivers. Like, I'm sure I would have if it was a guy and they actually did something to one of their private parts. I mean, definitely, I would have gotten the shivers as well. But yeah, those were the ones who actually took their own lives from the monitor's influence. And you might be thinking, well, what about Naegi? Well, his was just him actually going to commit suicide by him stabbing himself in the actual throat, which was kind of tame, not really going to lie. But of course, in the end, he actually doesn't go through with it, as a friend of his actually pushes the knife away right as he was actually about to actually end his own life, and actually breaks him out of the hypnosis, which of course, him being the main character, it makes sense that he would be able to overcome the monitor's influence. I'm just surprised Candy Girl or Ruru wasn't able to. But that is going to be it, though, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I went over all of their actual deaths and how they actually committed suicide and all that. And it's really, really fascinating, actually. Like, just seeing Ruruka's death had people speculating who the actual attacker was. Well, this is the thing, is that the monitor had actually shown how messed up she actually was, and how actually deranged or messed up that she actually was, and she actually used that being really, really messed up on herself. It was actually brought out by the monitors. Her personality, her messed up personality was brought out by the monitors and actually shown into her suicide, which actually, which is just nuts in my opinion. But yeah, I will be going, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be having one more video out before Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, guys, peace out.